Hello, everyone. I am Athena Von Hausen. I'm one of the planners at the City of White Rock, and tonight we are here to discuss 15109 Buena Vista Avenue. It's a public information meeting for a zoning bylaw amendment. So we're going to just start in a couple minutes here. I'll wait until about 5:35 so that we have everyone attending with us, and then I'll be able to start my presentation. I'm just going to bring up my presentation now while we just wait for everyone to join in with us. Okay, so I'll just begin now. Again, I'm Athena Von Hausen, and I'm one of the planners at the City of White Rock. And tonight, this evening, we're hosting a public information meeting for 15109 Buena Vista Avenue. This is a zoning bylaw amendment. So the purpose of this meeting is to inform you of the details of the proposal and any relief sought by the applicant. It's also to receive your feedback and answer any questions you might have. The live event is presented by Bert Gruber Contracting and Tom Pangalia, who is the owner of the residence. This meeting is going to be recorded and it will be posted on the city webpage. So if anyone that you know has missed the event, they can watch it there. We will not be publishing any questions until the question and answer section of the event. So that section of the event will be following my presentation and following the presentation by Tom and Bert. If any comments or questions are not specific to the application or they're disrespectful, I will not be publishing those comments, but any other comments will be published tonight. If you have any additional questions following the meeting, you can contact me at the email address you see on the screen there, avonhausen@whiterockcity.ca. So I just want to talk a little bit about next steps for this proposal. So what will be happening after this evening is we are going to be reviewing your feedback. The applicant will also have to address any questions or comments provided by staff. And once those comments and questions have been addressed by the applicant, we would be preparing a zoning amendment bylaw for first and second reading and presenting this to the Land Use and Planning Committee. So this would include a report, and that would inform the Land Use and Planning Committee, who is a committee of all of our council members, about the application. If the Land Use and Planning Committee and council support the application to move forward, we would be scheduling a public hearing. So this public hearing is going to be your opportunity to actually speak to council directly with regards to the proposal. Following the public hearing, we would be bringing the application back to council for third reading of the bylaw. And if council gives third reading of the bylaw, there might be some conditions that have to be satisfied by the applicant before staff can present the bylaw to council for fourth reading and for a final decision. So in terms of the project location, the project is located at the corner of Foster Street and Buena Vista Avenue. It is a 10-bed care home currently, and we have the owner here to talk to you a little bit more about the business and the intent of the caretaker suite. So in terms of the official community plan in the city of White Rock, this property is within the urban neighborhood designation. And what that means is that there can be the potential for multi-unit residential uses that support existing affordable housing stock, strengthen community uses and commercial uses, and provide a transition between the town center, lower town center, and town center transition areas. So buildings in this designation can be up to 4 stories in height and a total of 1.5 floor area ratio. And this proposal, as it is an addition in the rear, is consistent with the land use designation. So in terms of the existing zoning versus the proposed zoning for this site is actually zoned within a comprehensive development zone, and that zone is the CD24 comprehensive development zone. So this zone actually allows a personal care use, and this personal care use was a term used in a previous bylaw of ours. So what we would be looking at doing if this zoning amendment were to be passed by council is to change that term to a care facility, which is the term that's used in our current zoning bylaw for the exact same use. So we would be terming it care facility to be in line with our current zoning bylaw. And that would actually be also, in addition to the care facility portion of it, what would be added on is an accessory 1-unit residential use, which would take care of the caretaker suite in the rear. In terms of the parking spaces, what's required by the current zone is 3 spaces, and what would be required under the proposed zone with what they're asking for is 5 spaces. So currently on site, there's about 3 spaces, and they would need 5. So if they're asking for 5 spaces, we've outlined that they would need to submit a parking study to justify a reduction in those spaces on site. So if they were only proposing 3 spaces and they needed 5, they would need a parking study to justify that that reduction in spaces. In terms of the accessory building height, the current height restriction in the zone for accessory buildings, which would apply to the office area, which they are looking to convert to the caretaker suite, and add an additional 2 bedrooms, is 4 meters right now, or 13.12 feet. And what they are proposing is that it would not exceed a height of 6.09 meters. So that would be 19.98 feet. And the floor area that's existing is about 2,700 square feet, just over that. What's permitted under the zone is actually 5,295 square feet, so more than that. What they're proposing is just a small addition to the existing floor area, up to about 3,000 square feet. So in terms of the setbacks, they would all remain the same except the exterior side setback, and that is along Foster Street, and that setback would be reduced by about 1 meter, so by about 3 feet. Everything else in terms of the building siting would stay the same except an increase to the building height. And one thing that I just want to note right now is that I know that the notification letter that was sent out did not say they would be adding 2 beds to the facility. I know that the sign says they would be adding 2 beds to the facility, and we've had some kind of back and forth conversation about if they would actually be providing those beds or not. The owner has outlined that they would be looking to provide those beds. So that is part of the proposal, is an addition of 2 beds for the care facility use, and then the 3-bedroom caretaker suite. So I'm now going to pass it over to Tom and Bert, and they are going to talk to you a little bit about the business, as well as I'm going to pull up the architectural drawings for the property, and Bert will be able to walk through those with you this evening. So I will just get those up on the screen if I can. Just hold on 1 second here. Okay, I have the architectural drawings up here. So Tom, I'm going to pass it over to you to continue on with the presentation, please.
Hi to all. My name is Tom Pingalia. Me and my wife own the care facility. Actually, I'm gonna let the introduction go over to my wife. Her name is Mitu Achari, and she will start the introduction.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to provide a little bit information about our program. So Buena Vista Lodge has been a community-based program for nearly 50 years. This home is over 100 years old and has greatly served towards the care and support for individuals with mental health and mental illness. Our program is a 24-hour care facility, and it houses 12 people with chronic and persistent mental health and mental illness. The current age demographic is 30 to 80 years of age. So the need for the group are diverse, and it includes a wide range of both mental illness and physical illness. Our program focuses on promoting and practicing strength-based approach to implement education environment. Our objective is to provide a recognition and capability to live a full and meaningful life for the residents while coping with their mental health and illness. The objective towards adding 2 additional beds is that earlier this year, our community lost 27 mental health bed-based programs. We often hear and witness ongoing housing challenges due to stigma associated with mental health. Community-based programs, such as our program, Buena Vista Lodge, not only provide safe and secure home, but it also works as a team network that encourage positive and successful impact for their residents and their friends and families. Adding 2 additional beds will actually reach out to 2 more families out in the community. For us, the purpose for Caretaker Suite is will encourage and advocate a sense of security for the residents, staff, us as manager of facility, and our 2 children. Tom and I have bought this place 5 years ago, but myself, I have worked with this program for 17 years. We are the only second owners and service providers who had not lived in the property. While supporting this program, we continue to encounter obstacles and ongoing challenges such as staffing, responding to emergency situations, whether it's residents' mental health or physical base, property upkeep, and maintain the balanced lifestyle for our children. Prior to us, the previous owner bedroom among residents were shared, but since the licensing now requires residents to have their own bedroom and personal space, which we fully respect as all our residents are adults. Therefore, we are requesting to add a caretaker suite as current space and bedrooms are dedicated towards our residents. Buena Vista Lodge is being a 24-hour facility. We often struggle when staff member calls in sick, mainly at graveyard shifts. We also find shortage of staffing when staff cannot make it to work due to snow. Caretaker Suite will not only allow us to manage staffing coverage, but also better manage all emergency situations relating staff, residents, and the property as well. We are the manager of the facility. We are on call 24 hours. Being able to live on the site, we will be able to support residents and the staff as needed in a timely fashion. We will be able to provide better assistance to graveyard staff in the event of emergency situation, such where resident is requiring transfer to hospital during night, and should there be any event of fire. As we only have 1 staff member on site from 9 p.m. till 9 in the morning, Caretaker Suite will provide us reassurance and safety and support during those hours for residents. And add to that, we now facing additional challenges due to the COVID. We're also hoping to share our challenges due to coronavirus. Both Tom and I are here at the facility every day from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. each day. This is exceedingly difficult while we run back and forth from work and home while our 2 children are trying to learn and cope with online classes. As a frontline worker and a parent, it is extremely difficult to be both places at the same time.
All right, and thank you. Tina, did you want Bert to explain the drawing, or should I go ahead?
Either one of you can explain the drawings. It's up to you.
Bert, you're up.
Okay, the drawing shows view from standing on Foster Street, looking at the building, looking east. And the dotted line above the current garage right in the middle of the drawing, that'll be the outline of the caretaker suite when it's completed. So you can see it's just slightly higher than the existing house. And we're putting a flat roof on it because that way we keep the height down. And other than that, there'll be no changes.
Just to add to that, we have spoken to some of the residents in the area. They all misunderstood. They think we are rebuilding the whole house. That is not the case. That is not the case. We're strictly putting a floor on right next to our neighbor. If you're looking at the house, neighbor to our left. Way this garage sits now / office, it's in line with all the properties. There's no building that sits right behind it. It's all open. So in my view, there should not be any disturbance to anybody that live in around the area. We are not building far as where the main house is. We're only building to the left. So the main area, it still stays open as it is.
I'll just move on to some of the floor plans and you can kind of explain the interior of the proposal as well.
Bert, can you see that?
Explain the site plan.
You're looking at the Foster Street view. Okay, the site plan, the survey plan.
Yeah, I have the site plan pulled up on the screen. There might be a little bit of delay for you, but I can explain the site plan if you'd like, if you can't see the screen. So the site plan is just showing the existing building on the left-hand side here of the screen. So this is the existing office building here at the rear of the site. That's where their proposed addition would go, and then this is it as it would be built. So the new deck here would extend a little bit further towards Foster Street, but otherwise the setbacks would stay the same as where the existing structure is. So these are elevation drawings. I don't know, Bert, can you see the screen now? I mean, you can describe these, but I'm trying to help you guys out right now.
I've got the survey drawing up now. Where you were saying we're going to be extending closer to Foster Street, that's only the deck. We're putting a deck on the front of the caretaker suite, which is over top of the parking. Otherwise, the wall will stay the same. So if you look on the south elevation there, you can see the deck sticking out. And that is the only part that's why we have to say we're going closer to Foster Street. The building itself, the wall just goes straight up the existing wall.
Thank you for the clarification, Bert. Yeah, so these are the four sides of the building. So these are elevation drawings of the four sides of the building. As you can see, it would be a flat roof proposed with the caretaker's suite and the additional 2 bedrooms on the first level. So I'm just going to move on to the floor plans in the next slide. I don't know, Bert, if you have these up on your screen now, but I can just speak to them a little bit. You can clarify anything that may need clarification. But on the first floor, so that's going to be on the left-hand side of your screen over here. That is going to be the main floor of the proposal. So Foster Street is going to be running along the bottom of your screen here. So the office would be in the front. And then there's a foyer and 2 bedrooms in the rear, and then a storage room with a bathroom and a shower. And then the second floor is on the right-hand side of your screen. So that is going to include a kitchen and 3 bedrooms, a washer dryer, and a 3-piece bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the main floor, the office is existing already. We're just changing the shape of it a bit. And the 2 bedrooms are currently under scrutiny, I guess is the word for it. And we may just turn that into a meeting room, possibly. Because there seems to be some contention about whether or not we have to hire an architect if we want to. There's a new drawing out that doesn't show that middle wall and shows it as being 1 room with no closets. So that we stay with the existing number of care rooms or bedrooms.
So yeah, I guess Tom and Brittany, I've presented the proposal as you're asking for 2 additional beds and the caretaker suite. If for some reason you do not decide to go with the additional beds, that the city is going to have to work that out with the applicant before this would ever proceed to council. So I'm presenting it as you're requesting both this evening. That's the direction that I've confirmed to this point. So if something does change, that would be clarified before this proceeds to council. I think the intent, and Bert and Tom, you can clarify this if I'm wrong, but the intent would still be to add the 2nd floor addition regardless of if you're asking for 2 more beds for the caretaker suite or not.
Correct.
Yeah. So those are just section drawings. We don't need to touch on that. And I think that's it for the drawings for your presentation, I believe. If you guys have anything else that you'd like to put up on the screen, I'm not sure at this point, but I think that that's all you guys have. Is that correct, Tom and Bert? Tom?
Lady next door, she gave me a call yesterday and said she wouldn't be able to attend because she's not feeling well, but she wanted me to know that she was in full approval of this caretaker suite being added to the complex. And that's the lady who lives exactly next door on Foster Street.
That would be 1230 Foster Street.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Bert. I appreciate you.
Yeah, on this drawing, the elevation here that's showing now, her house is the one just on the left side.
Okay, great. If Leslie can send me an email, that would be great. We're just going to move on to the question and answer section of the event. So everyone, if you see on your screen, there's going to be a little a box with 2 little speech bubbles and a question mark. So you can click on that and you'll be able to type any questions you may have into that box, and we'll be able to address them as a group here. I'll be responding to any city process related questions, and Tom and Bert can speak to any questions specific to the application. I have a few here from the beginning of the event, so I'll just read those ones out loud now, and we can just touch base on some of those. If you want to provide your comments online, we have a forms document that you can fill out, and that's available at the link on your screen right now at whiterockcity.ca/calendar. This will be available till November 27th. You also have the option to email me. I am here to answer any of your questions. I'm providing any of those comments to council with any report that would go. And then you will have a formal opportunity to speak to council directly during the public hearing. So I'll start with the questions that we have already. And these are from a resident. So I will start with number 1 and I'll publish them as I go. So the question is, at the back of the office, or at the back of the home was a garage. So that's the office building we're speaking about right now during the presentation. And she says it was structured for not an office building, and it was structured for something else. What is in the existing building right now? Tom, is it your office in the building currently?
It's an office slash storage.
Okay, thank you.
It's 50-50. 50 is office, 50 storage.
Yeah, and then we have the next comment is related to the first one. So it says, so if a caretaker is moving into the new second level, why is it 3 bedrooms?
We have 2 kids.
Yeah, I think Tom, you kind of touched on that in your presentation, but yeah, Tom and his wife would be, the intention is that Tom and his wife would be moving into this suite, and they have 2 children, so they need 3 bedrooms. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And their ages 10 and 7, and we're not going anywhere for a while.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. The next comment is this a done deal, or have our letters been taken into consideration of the loss of my view of the water since my brain tumor? It's the positive psychological state of mind to my view to the water for a very calming effect that concerns me and others. So we've received quite a bit of feedback about loss of views in this specific circumstance. And due to the feedback that we've received, the city will be requesting a more thorough view analysis from the applicant to address exactly what impact this addition will have on surrounding properties. So I have received a number of people that live to the east and to the northeast of this property concerned about loss of views. So we will be looking to receive a view impact analysis from the applicant that really outlines how much of an impact this would have on the views to the rear. So I hope that answers your question. So this is not a done deal. This has not gone to council yet. The public information meeting is the beginning of the process. It's to help inform you of what the proposal is. And when this does go to council, there is several readings it has to go through. All of your feedback is actually provided to council at that time, and they make a decision based on the receipt of all that feedback.
Can I make a comment on this?
Yep, you guys can speak if you like, sure.
Yeah, I think there are some people under the mistaken impression that this caretaker is going to be an addition to staff that's already there. It's not. It's just a matter of the part of the staff won't be going somewhere else to sleep at night. They're going to stay. So they're not hiring more people. For the people in the area, there'll be no change. There'll be all the same people. And as a matter of fact, there'll be less vehicles because right now, Tom and his wife have 2 vehicles on site because they come and go at different times. Once they're 24/7, they will only need 1 vehicle. So there'll actually be 1 vehicle less than is currently on site already. So it's going to be very minimal change, except that was currently the former garage, currently office, is going to be the same height as the main house.
And I would,
Tom and Bert, do any of your residents drive?
no.
No. Okay. Thank you.
A lot of our residents, they've been here for a long time. We're talking about like 27 years, 28 years. There's very limited amount of people that come and see them, family-wise or friend-wise. We do have 1 or 2 people. Their family does come and visit, and most of the time we find them. They usually take a bus here, so there's traffic-wise very, very low. The other thing I wanted to mention about the view, I really believe there's somebody's not looking at the thing properly. They think we're building the whole property. We are not. We're simply building right next to 1230 Foster Street. It is no different than what's only half of what 1230 Foster Street is. We're simply going up. The width, the drawing can show, but the rest of the property still remains the same. So if anybody's got a view from the back, they will still have that view. It will not be impacted. As of right now, where it sits, the people in the back, they're looking over our roof, and that still stays the same. It doesn't change.
Sorry, I just wanted to bring these drawings back up here because I think that this will kind of help explain the height. We will be looking for a view analysis, but if everyone just wants to look at the screen now. So the existing building, this is the height here. It's 85.51. So that's the elevation of the building in relation to sea level. So the proposed addition in the rear here, you can see it's kind of hatched, and that would be basically in line with the existing home. So this line here would continue all the way back. I think that, as you can see right now, there's probably at least one resident and maybe some residents in behind that may be impacted by the proposal in terms of their existing view. I'll just go back to my other screen, but I think that kind of helps illustrate your point, Tom, that the existing home would be staying the same. It's just in the rear that we're talking about. So we just kind of touched on parking, and the next question and comment is about major concern of parking spots for residents on Buena Vista Avenue as it is now. So I think we did just kind of touch on that comment. I
just have one more comment to make.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead, Tom.
First, I just want to make it clear about the view. When you put that drawing up there, you'll see where the office space is and where the house is. There's still going to be that big gap in the middle. Like, we're not closing. Like, if you look at it right there where that arrow is right now, that gap stays the same. Like, we're not building nothing there, right there. Like, that gap stays the same. We're only building to the left. And where this office sits, it's in line with all the buildings from the left and the right. We're just sitting down the middle. So I think people are mistaken. They think we're building the whole thing. We're not. We're just building to the left and everything else stays the same. I just want to make that clear, please. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Tom. So I'll just, I published that comment. I'll just, it's an older home and may need much repair inside. So I guess someone's wondering, at what point will the building, does it need a lot of repair inside? I think as it's functioning right now, you wouldn't be looking at any major repairs to the main home. It's functioning as it is. Is that correct, Tom?
Correct. It's been renovated, and we've been keeping it up to date.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. The next question is, what is the height of the addition? So I'll just go back in my presentation here. So right now, the accessory building height cannot exceed 4 meters. So I think right now the existing height is probably, it's just under, it's 83. Let's see. Just gonna do a little bit of a calculation here. Bert, do you know what the existing height of the building is now?
The existing building?
The office.
The existing office building. I think it's around 3 meters.
Yeah, that would be fairly accurate.
Yeah, so it's about 3 meters. So it's about 10 feet probably. Does that sound accurate?
At the peak, it's a little bit more, but we're taking all that away.
Okay.
And the part that's going to be higher on the new structure is the very front of the sloped roof. At the back, it's actually going to be lower because it slopes to the back. So people looking from behind on that view where it looks like we're blocking somebody's patio door, the only part of the view that would change for them is if they're looking directly west. And directly west on the other side of Foster Street is an apartment building.
Correct.
So the only thing we would be blocking there is whatever you see in that building if they don't close their curtains.
Yeah.
So the ocean, you have to look south, and that part we're not changing.
Okay, thank you for the confirmation. So, so just to answer your question, what is the height of the addition? So it's a total, it would not exceed a height of 19.98 feet. So I think it's probably a little bit higher than 10 feet right now. It could go up to 13 feet, and it probably is about 13 feet with a pitched roof there. And they would be looking to add an additional 2 meters onto that. 2 meters, 2.09 meters total. So it would go up to about 20 feet, just under 20 feet.
The highest part of the new roof will be approximately 6 inches higher than the ridge of the existing house.
The addition is going to be 6 inches higher than the peak of the
existing house.
The peak of the existing house. Yep. So the line of the existing house here, the peak or the top of this flat roof is going to be about 6 inches higher than the peak of this roof, the peak of the main home.
Right.
For other residents of Foster Street on the same block, will the city consider allowing resident parking only? So I can't answer this question right now. I can speak to our parking manager and get back to you. If you can send me an email, that would be great. He is the one that deals with any type of on-street parking and resident-only parking. So I will be able to contact him and get back to you on that question. So you can see my email address up there on the screen. It's avonhausen@whiterockcity.ca, and I'll be able to answer that question. Thank you. Yeah, so it says, we just kind of touched on this, but a question was, how much higher will the new roof be after the second level is built? So it's probably going to be about 7, would you say 7 feet higher?
Than the existing garage.
Yeah, so going from 4 meters to 6 meters. I would say that it's going to be, it's probably going to be going from about 13 feet to about 20 feet, if we're just talking round numbers.
It looked very similar to the neighbor next door on Foster Street and slightly higher than the existing house.
Yeah, so what Bert is talking about here is that there is a building that's to the north of 15109 Buena Vista. So the property directly to the north of the site, there is a building there, and it's 2 stories, and this addition is just going to be slightly higher than that building there. So if everyone can think about that, and it's just going to be slightly higher than the pitch of this roof.
Yeah, the building next door is also flat roof.
Yeah, so this proposal will be a very similar height to that building to the north, but probably slightly higher, a little bit higher. The next question is, there is a walkway between the main building and the office. Generally, an annex is built. This is prime area with high costs for views. This will impede my view. I would appreciate a more exploration done as possible accommodation versus adding a second level. So I think what this means here is maybe more consideration done for an addition on the first level instead of adding on to the second level. I'm assuming that's what you mean. If that's not what you mean, please type in and you can. I will be able to clarify more, but I believe that that's what you mean. So that comment will be provided to the applicant, and we'll ask them to address it. So thank you very much. We understand that views are of great value to all of our residents in White Rock, and we definitely value your feedback. So thank you very much for that.
Can I touch up on that, please?
Sure, yep.
Yeah, the walkway they're talking about in between the office and the building, that doesn't change. Nothing changes there. It stays the same. So if they have a view through that walkway, it's not changing any which way or form. Just to clarify that.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. The current parking on site is really only for 2 vehicles. I am concerned about reduced street parking with extra bedrooms. Will the city be implementing parking permits? Will the city do an on-site measurement of on-site parking? If you do, I believe you will see room for 2 cars. Yeah, so we are, as you saw in the drawings, you couldn't really see the parking spaces dimensioned. So that's one of the things that we're asking for, is that the parking spaces be dimensioned on the site plan so that we can confirm that the parking spaces would meet the city standards. So as I said before, if their parking does not meet the standard, we would be requiring a parking study to ensure that the demand provided by this site is not going to negatively influence the surrounding area. So, I mean, those have been the 2 major concerns that we've heard, is parking and views. So we're going to be looking to address that as well. If they are asking to reduce their parking supply at this location based on the caretaker suite and the addition of the bedrooms. The parking requirement actually goes up because of the addition of the caretaker suite. The 2 bedrooms don't actually result in a different parking ratio because it's calculated in a way that the 2 bedrooms wouldn't actually impact their parking ratio. The next question is the architect's drawing accurate? In the owner's rendering, my balcony is partially blocked by the new proposed addition. So I think that, yeah, so I think this person lives right behind the proposed addition here. So, or I'm not sure, I think this is probably 1 unit here. So we're going to be, like at this time right now, it's likely that we're going to be requiring drawings that are drawn using AutoCAD, so they'll be a little bit more accurate. I think from my understanding, we're probably going to get a bit more further clarification. So I'll be able to address that as well. If you want to provide a little bit more clarification, is your balcony currently not blocked? The addition potentially could block part of your deck. It looks like in the drawing that's provided here. And I think Tom and Bert were touching on the fact that this would be blocking the view directly to the west and not necessarily the view to the water. But if you have a little bit more information on that, I would be happy to receive it. Again, we will be asking for a view impact analysis, so that's going to provide us with a bit more information so that when we present this to council, they will have all the information they need to actually make a decision on the application. The next comment is, it says, what is wrong? Any higher will impact me. So I think this person likely lives in behind, and I think that this is why we need a view impact analysis, because we need to actually see what the view impact will be, because I think some of the residents that live behind the proposed addition feel that anything higher is going to impact their view. So how we're going to address this is we will be requiring a view impact analysis. So if any of you want to send me an email, when we do receive that, I can forward it along to you. It might take the applicant a little bit of time to prepare it, but I will be able to share that with you if you'd like to see it. Yeah, so we have a resident saying there's no way there will be a view from my balcony is I am in the northeast corner on the second floor. I am behind the portion of our building that is showing. So this lady obviously lives right behind the proposed addition. So I think there's a lot of concern about impacts to views with this application. So like I said, everyone, we are going to be requesting a view analysis. So it's going to confirm how much of a view impact there will be to all of the residents in behind. So thank you very much for your comment. At 15131 Buena Vista Avenue, there are units facing north. What allowances are there for their reduced sunshine? So I think this this would be for residents living on the first level, I'm assuming, of the building, and the impacts to them from a two-level building being built up against their units on the west side of the site at 15131 Buena Vista. I'm assuming that that's what this comment is in relation to. Reduced sunshine is also a concern, so I would just recommend that you submit your comments to me, and we'll be able to get those to the applicant and ask them to provide some commentary on reduction to sunshine for those units. But that can be an impact of this proposal, that there could be some reduced sunshine to those units and increased shadowing.
Can I touch up on that, please?
Sure. Yep.
If there's any sunshine, they're talking blocking the sunshine. The house next door, it's whatever the impact they have now, it would be the same. Us putting another building, another floor on, it would not make a difference. Due to the building behind us, there's a their garden and their landscape. It's quite wide. So if their sunshine being blocked, it would be no different than what's happening right now. I don't think that would be a concern, because I don't think we will be blocking any sunshine.
Maybe they're talking about when the sun comes around to the west and probably shines maybe into their yard, probably in the early afternoon, depending on what time of year it is. There might be a little bit of increased sunlight and shadowing into their yard with a second floor addition added on there. I think that's probably what that concerns in relation to.
No, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut in. It would be the other way around. It would affect my neighbor next door, if anything. It will not affect the apartment behind us because the sun's going down. The gap that's in the middle between the office space and the house, that gap's staying open. So if there's any sun going through, that sun will still be peeking through. So as the sun's setting, it would affect the person to my right, which would be 1230 Foster, not the person behind me. At any given day, like if there's a problem with the sun right now, whatever they're getting now, they should be getting the same. It should not make a difference the way I see it, because the sun's going down, right? And if the shadow should be going to your right, 1230 Foster, not to the left. I don't know if that's clear or not.
Well, the sun usually sets in the west, right? And we're looking east at the drawing that we're looking at right now. So there's probably going to be a little bit of shading and shadowing from the addition. It's probably going to be limited to that back corner of the building and behind. So it's not going to be significant, but maybe to a resident living directly behind the addition, there might be a little bit of less sunlight in that area, I would assume.
No, okay. The way this office sits, it sits right next to my neighbor, which is 1230 Foster. Mm-hmm. Right behind, on the right-hand side, the apartment building that we see, right behind our house, there's a huge gap in the middle. Then there's another apartment. Let me just pull up. Sorry.
I think the gap between the house and the addition is probably going to allow for sunshine to go through there and project through. So I don't think shadowing is the biggest concern here. But when you add on a second story to anything, there's going to be a little bit more shadowing.
I agree, but it would be to the left, not to the right or behind me, because the only other person it would affect, it would be, if there's any effect, which is like almost block away, 15151. That unit might, they will not see this. They're too far, right? So the shouting, if anybody's would complain about it, it would be my neighbor next door who agreed to the whole proposal. That's the way I'm looking at it. If you look at the location of the map proposal, there's all the houses are on there. Our unit, the right behind is 15131. Then there's 15139. Then there's 15151. That's almost like 2 blocks away. So I don't see how that's gonna make a difference unless my neighbor's complaining, which Burge just read out. She's all for the project. I just want to clarify that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, Tom. So please send me an email if you have more concerns about shadowing, and I'll be able to answer that question a little bit further beyond the meeting. I think as we've discussed, the shadowing impacts are probably minimal, but there could be some minor shadowing impacts. I'll be able to kind of further clarify that question and get more feedback from Tom and Bert on that question. We have about 8 more comments to go through, so I'm just going to keep moving here because we only have about 6 minutes left of our meeting. So I'll just try to get through as many comments as I possibly can. So it says, just to help the commentator, the view comments come from residents on the north side of the building behind. The balconies are staggered, so there are 3 to 4 more condo balconies that you cannot see in the rendering. I think the height of the original proposal was deceiving, where it appeared to rise up to the height of the chimney of the neighboring building on Foster. Now, during this presentation, it looks like the height is less than it appeared. Okay, thank you. That comment's very helpful. Really appreciate that. So I think it's kind of the building to the north and not necessarily the building that's directly behind. That's why we're going to be getting a view analysis, because we know that it's not just the building right directly in behind, and there is another building kind of to the northeast of the proposal. So thank you for that comment. I have another comment that says Unit 204 has corner windows that look both north and west. So I think that's in relation to the unit right in behind the proposal. There is a walkway. I would appreciate that a more ground level annex be built versus a building on top. Yeah, so I guess this comment is just in relation to the comment that I read out before. So this person is just explaining that they would appreciate more of an extension between the existing building and the office building and making everything one level instead of a proposal of an additional story above. So thank you for that comment. So this person just says, so an additional 9 feet higher, which will block my ocean view. So obviously, the concern this evening, I think the most major concern is impacts to views. So again, we will be getting a view impact analysis from the applicant to address those concerns. We know it's a major concern, so we will be getting a view impact analysis that will help council to make a decision on the application. So I just want to make that super clear to everyone this evening. Sorry, I just had a repeat of that last question. So yeah, so this, I think this person is just clarifying their comment again, and it says, I meant exploring the building on the main level, which included the walkway space. So thank you, that's a really great idea. The next question or comment is, the balconies on the north of the building have views to the views west to the water because of the architecture of the building. You cannot see those balconies in this picture. Also, the balcony behind the walkway is a different suite than the window to the right. It is not the same suite. Oh, okay, thank you. So it's 2 different suites there. So there's one behind the existing main building and then a different suite that's right up against the back. So thank you for that clarification. So this person's referring to 15131 Buena Vista, and the balconies are on the north of the building. Oh, so I think 151 Buena Vista. Sorry, I'll just pull it up here so we are all on the same page. Is directly to the west, or sorry, the east. Just want to make sure I'm talking about the right thing here. Yes, okay, so 15131 Buena Vista. This lady was, or this person, as they're anonymous, was referring to balconies being on the north of the building. So yes, I understand what you're referring to now, and those balconies being on the north. So I think what we've heard this evening is that there are lots of concerns about views and parking, and we will be able to get you more information on those items. If you have any comments, you can fill out the comment form or send me an email. I'm just going to go back to my PowerPoint presentation. So my email is up on the screen. You'll be able to fill out the comment form until November 27th, or you can just simply send me an email with your comments. We appreciate you all taking the time this evening. I'll just quickly go through next steps, and then we'll be able to wrap up the public information meeting. So after this meeting, we're going to be reviewing all your feedback. We're going to be providing this to the applicant. The applicant is then going to have to submit a public information meeting summary addressing all of your questions and concerns. Staff are also going to be giving the applicant comments on what they've submitted to date. And like I said, we will be requiring a view impact analysis. So that'll confirm how the views will be impacted by the proposal, both in behind and to the east. And in behind, I mean to the northeast. After that, after we have a full set of drawings and we've worked out some of these issues, we would be preparing a zoning bylaw amendment for first and second reading, and we would be presenting this to the Land Use and Planning Committee. Excuse me. After the Land Use and Planning Committee considers the application, and if the application is supported by council to move forward, we would be scheduling a public hearing. And following that public hearing, at that public hearing, you would be able to address council specifically and tell them about your support or concerns about their proposal. Following that, we would be presenting the application to council for third reading of the bylaw. And if council gives the bylaw third reading, we would finalize the bylaw for fourth reading and present this to council for a decision. So that's just kind of the process moving forward. So that concludes our public information meeting this evening. I would like to thank everyone sincerely for attending tonight. I hope this was informative. And if you have any follow-up questions or concerns, please send me an email. My email is on the screen. So have a great evening, everyone. Stay safe, and thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.